Hello, everybody. It's Vicki Ross, and I'm here for a teaching lesson. Not just a demo lesson. You can watch pretty painting anywhere, but I want to explore with you guys how you can improve. I'm not going to say fix. I'm going to say improve a watercolor painting with PanPastels. This is a live performance. You can catch it on replay. And if you catch it on replay, feel free to fast forward through the chitter chatter. And I will wait patiently here. Hi, Joycey. Hey, Nancy. We're going to work on what I did last week. And I had to find my PanPastel goodies. How do you get into it? I guess you have to cut it. Thank you. How y'all been? I've gotten a lot done this week. I designed a group of hexagon-shaped cards. I'll put those up later. This is the soft tool. It's a foam that will turn hard, but it is the best foam for PanPastels. Makeup sponges work in a pinch. This sure is handy having the little tools. Come on now. Stretch on up. Anyway, my cards are going to be like playing cards or prompt cards or something like that, but they're small. And I looked for some. I want that all the way down in that point. Come on, there. I looked for some because I wanted a set that said different materials like inks, pastels, 4 or 5 different kinds of pastels, or crayons like Ranger and Neocolor 2s and modeling paste and alcohol ink. So I wanted different mediums on each card. And then for the second set of cards, or, you know, like clubs, if you were playing cards. I want it to be the tools that we seem to collect, like, oh, I don't know, cricket cutters and tools, gel plates, different kinds of brushes, papers, tools, special tools. Now I can't think. Washi tape. Let's see. And powders I put on the first group. So anyway, you can get my drift where I'm going. So that'd be pull one card for the medium you're to work with, and one card for a tool to use with it. There may be a third category. I don't particularly need to do color. Journal is another tool. So that's what I'm working on. Move my cart over here where I have the PanPastels. And there's the lid's under it. These are shinies. And then I have my big sets over there. Do y'all have PanPastels? Royal blue. I'm gonna go ahead and start since y'all are here. The first one I did on the bee paper, the colors are actually better than they are on this one that I kept putting layers and layers and layers on. In soft pastel, you often do underpaintings. You can do it with watercolor. You can do it with hard pastels that you liquefy with alcohol or terpenoid, you know, Gamsol, mineral spirits. You can liquefy it. And what that does is it tones your paper, but it's a thin enough coat that it doesn't fill the paper with, so that you can't put many layers on. Now this paper is fairly smooth. And I probably could have put some clear gesso on it. This one has a little more texture, so I need to do that. I thought I was all ready. I don't want to get my mat all messy. This has some really good grit for this kind of work. You can buy grit especially for pastels, but I really like this. And should you want some texture, you can make texture. I could leave these lines I'm getting. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. It won't hurt. I mean, okay. And now we'll do this beauty. We're improving these. We're not saying they're bad. Just about there. Okay. All righty. I did. I was curious. No biggie. They're for specialty purpose. I like my style with pastel is being able to see colors under. So I want to see the texture. And PanPastels don't allow a whole lot of texture. Well, none really, unless you paint the texture on when I just did my underlayment. But they are so soft that each stroke completely covers the one below it. And I prefer sticks because I can just lightly touch it and you can see through it. But that's a difference in style. They're both correct. Good. Any questions so far? I gotta get my chair turned. If I turn it just right, the leg goes up under my little footstool. All right, Mama settled. I'll move this over here. I am going to use some of these frosty colors. All right, we'll just have to put this over here. That's one reason why they're hard to work with for me. I could take them out of the pan, but where's my picture? Didn't do me any good last week, but I'm just going to start with a little bit of bright blue. Make it as smooth as I want. Just for the sake of information, if you're going to ever invest in some PanPastels for journaling or crafting or something like that, it's okay to cherry pick colors. But these colors are designed to be, they're 4 values of the same color. I'm thinking I didn't get enough stuff on here, but that's okay. It kind of looks like clouds, so we're good. And by that I mean, if this is, I think it's probably this one, ultramarine. It's phthalo blue. But if this is phthalo blue, you've got your pure color here. And then a little bit of black is added to get to these 2 darker values. And a little white is added to get to the light color. If you need a range in between, you just mix these together. And just take your sponge and get some of both and let it blend on the paper. So these are the 4 values, and values are important in pastel because you can't mix color. You have to go with what you got. It'll come up off there, but I've got 4 of these big trays. I mixed that same blue and some white. Well, that does have some marks through there. Hey, good deal. So you'll see, I know you guys aren't into the pastels or the art stuff, but I'm going to tell you anyway, just so you'll have you can say, oh, I've heard that before. Your more expensive pastel lines will have, now we go into a purple, anywhere from 7 to 10 different values. And the most expensive brand is out of France called Rocher, and they have sometimes 16 to 17 different levels. I'm gonna go with the lighter now, just kind of blend, because you cannot get those levels any other way. Oops. Now I need my reddish purple. This is a magenta color. I love working in pastel. And I'm going to lighten this just a hair. One of my mentors was the founder of the International Association of Pastel Societies, called IAPS. And that she gave, by doing that, she gave, what are you doing? Yeah, I want it color side down. Tons of artists and manufacturers came together and started making their own pastels. So we have lots of little cottage industries that make really, really good pastels. little bit more of the blue. Got a little bit of a darker blue, kind of matches my cloud up there. I'm still in that same blue family. Okay, any questions yet? No. It's a whole lot easier in soft pastel to match your colors and work from dark to light. So that means I'm going to carry my blue on down into this beautiful orange cloud. A little lighter. Blend it. I don't blend at all when I'm using regular pastel sticks. I didn't really mean to do that. I wanted it on here. And that would put me right in here. Bring this orange up, and I need some purple. And then light blue. Give that a little bit of a... And then bright, bright yellow. To clean these little pads off, it'd be nice if I had a paper towel handy. You just brush them on some kind of a cloth, and that cleans them up just fine. And this is way too yellow, but that's okay. I can come back on top of it. And I want it a little lighter. Now we got the mountain over here, so I'm not worried a whole lot about that. And now we have a reddish purple down here in the water. Catching a little bit of magenta. Excuse me. I'm glad you are, Joyce. And I think I'm going to use a little bit of pink. Just because. Pale pink. Purpley. Okay, now let's see. I need a bigger purplish area. I'm doing this because what's under the clouds is a little bit yellow, reddish. But I've got some variation of color, which is good. Bring that on up. Now we've got a decent size area for what we were working on. Let's see. It could come on up just a hair. Because that area, after all, is what draws your attention. Okay, now the orangey. I'm going to go in with orange. I'm smoothing it as I go. Just want to get my basic path in here. And see, the difference with watercolor that I was having trouble with is that you can't lighten it once you put it on. Not easily, anyway. Alrighty. See what y'all are doing. Yeah, they are pretty, aren't they? Okay, now I'm going to come in with some lighters and leave some of the, I'm not going to fill the whole space. I could lose myself for hours playing with this stuff. And if you were curious about starting with these, I wouldn't, if you want to paint with them, I would pick 2 or 3 colors like ultramarine, a warm red, a split complementary that I talk about, a warm and a cool yellow, warm and a cool red, and oops, I wasn't going to do that yet. It's all right. Red, yellow, blue, warm and cool of each one. They have tons of sets, but that just gives you a selection of odd colors. Again, it's fun. It depends on what you want to use them for. Some little wispies. A little bit of magenta with the lighter pink. Kind of using this magenta and pink to blend some of those blue spots shining through before the yellow. It kind of gives it a bridge. The purplish reddish color gives it a bridge under between the yellow and the blue. I'm putting in some bright yellow. I took pictures of this with my first digital camera. Randy had a big one. It was my first digital. It was a Nikon. Nothing wrong with it at all, but I had never taken pictures before, so it was fun. And I took time-lapse pictures of this sky as it began to change. I'm using less and less as whoops, I didn't want that, as I move around, because I want you to be able to see all the colors. Now I'm going to come back in with the lighter yellow. Oops. Oopsie. Trying to keep a light touch. And a little less over to the side where we're turning into. Okay, let me check with you. Pretty tones. Okay, we're still good over there. I'm going to put a little more red. I'm mixing red with pink. Hope y'all are enjoying this as much as I am. Now, you could do the same thing if you wanted to use a watercolor as an underpainting. You could come back in with another one of the wet mediums like gouache, casing. Anything that's opaque would help. And I really want a peachy color. This is the light orange, lightest orange. Make sure that you break up your shapes so that you don't have all one shape. You've got some bigger and some that connect. Oh, it's not too bad. Come back in and restate a couple of my blues. And I still haven't got the lightest color the way I want it. Connecting a few more areas. Okay, now then, what can we do? I can use this burnt sienna color, maybe. It's a little pinker than that light orange I was using. This time I'm just trying to hit the hot points. This video has no music. It doesn't have much talking either. I'm just trying to build up different colors, starting with my dark. And you don't have to just have one perfect orange. You've seen me layer yellows and pinks and magentas. And I'm going to use a little bit of this darker. All right, now take a look at blue spots. Connecting that one. This is a green that is almost a neon, like a light neon, but it's kind of giving me that extra brightness that I want. if I'm painting over on my easel, most of this dust will fall down. I try not to blow it because I'm going to put some of that green up in here too. See if that gives me the contrast I'm wanting. I don't want it to look all blobby either. That didn't work so well right there. Don't want it to look all dabby. Okay, now you'd need a lunchroom table. Okay, so now I'm going to bring back in some red in that blue stripe, and it gets lighter, so I'm going to bring in some of the lighter in that tone. I can't wait to show y'all my card set. That's about as good as we're going to capture this. A little bit of red or magenta. And then how about some little reflections in the water? Now, landmass. Good, Joycey. I'm glad you're enjoying. And what color do I want the mountain? I have an analogous color wheel here. And if my main color was blue, then my adjacent hues would be green, which there's not really any green. But we do have that. And this dark purplish brownish color could be the mountain. Dark greenish brownish. Let's use this stripe. Okay, so I've got a dark brown and an olivey green right next to it. So if I use that, yeah, that'll work. Let's I'm coming back in now from the other side. I'm going to try to make it matte. And I don't think I did. So, okay, let's come over here and step down and step down. Because I've got some room over here I can play or I can adjust. It won't be as dark right there where I went over the yellows. But you know what? There's little city lights in there, so that's good. That's a good thing. I like happy little accidents. Over there where we were staying. Okay, now it's using some dark blue to come back over. Get my little pointy. Now I'm going to darken that mountain with a little bit of dark purple. A little bit of dark blue. Cover some of that up. Just fine tuning that. Much better. Oh, I was going to use some fancy stuff, wasn't I? Maybe I can get my yellow in that way. This is sparkly. Because the sun's over here going down. Okay, and I'm going to use a little bit of this warm white. I've just about filled my tooth. So if you needed more layers, you could put retouch varnish on it. But then you have to redo your lights because they always turn darker when you spray them. Now, if I were to frame this, I would knock off any extra dust, and I would put the glass, I would treat the glass, clean it, put an anti-static rag over it, and then lay it very gently right on top of the pastel. Picture frames for photographs work great. Looking at it in the mirror, it looks pretty darn good, guys. So much for the sparkles in the water. Now, is that all we got? What else do we have? We throw at it. We have some beautiful bronze or copper. These things last forever. These pastels. Well, sticks do too, for that matter. Let's try some of this blue. I do not spray my finished pastels ever. Because it darkens the color. I'm happy with that now. I was going to sign it. What am I going to sign it with? I got some little pieces up here. Nope. I gotta climb over there and get a. Wait a minute, I might have one right here. Charcoal, or you try to sign your stuff in the one of the colors in your. That works. A similar color to what you use. There, all done. Hey, Deborah, how are ya? Hi. Woo, we've been having a big time today. Look at the difference. I got the other one under here somewhere. No comparison. So I'm using the PanPastels to knock this up a notch or two. I'm going to check on YouTube and see what's going on over there. What's going on over there? Whip. Bye-bye. What's going on over there? Whip. Well, it's... Bye-bye. That cracked me up. Now I'll forget that my phone is turned off. That really does look pretty darn good to me. I'm going to continue with this one because it really could use the boost. Any kind of an opaque media would work. On top of watercolor, use it like as a underpainting. And I did take these two watercolors and put a coat of clear gesso. It's Liquitex clear gesso. I didn't say that earlier. Liquitex has a grit in it that other clears don't have, and it makes it perfect for soft pastels. This is the darker magenta. Just as a segue into the brighter magenta. PanPastels are artist quality, and they are made from some really, really nice pigments. And you can use them for crafts, and you can use them for real painting. The colors are arranged by tone, and they are, because they are artist quality. Let's see where I am here. The color names will be pigment names like ultramarine and phthalo blue and that sort of thing. There's that stripe. Whoops. All right, now we will go into move this blue one back to the top. And like I said before, usually your second or third in a color is its true color, no modification to it at all. And then lighten it, you get white, and darken it. You either take this color and cut it with a little bit of black, or its complement. That people do it both ways. Okay, so let's come back to this blue. Because optical illusion with the orange clouds sitting on top, it kind of makes it look like a different color of blue. And then we'll go a little bit brighter as I get over here toward where the sun, whoops, where the sun is. I saw something come up. Let me see. Well, watching people do them is fun. Allie, there are no rules. These tools come in real handy. These are the soft tools that come with them. You don't have to use them unless you just want to. They're not that expensive. And they don't last just a real long time. I'm gonna lighten that. Back on my, since I've got somebody that to make a value between this extreme light and the main color, you just mix them like that. Alrighty dotty. Let's see, is that purple right here? That's magenta really, but just needs to be lightened a bit. Now that'll all get blended down when I go back to the orange. And I said in the very beginning that artist pastels, starting with your mid-range, like Rembrandt is my favorite in the mid-range. Now then, they'll have 3 or 4 sticks in a color range. Kind of like we've got here. We've got 4 in a color range. As you get more expensive, you'll have more sticks in a color range. And the reason that you have those is because you can't mix color like you can with watercolor and acrylic and all that. The most expensive brand in the world is by Rocher. It's a family-owned business in Paris who was around to design and make pastels for Degas and his crew, Mary Cassatt, and I have a very few of those. I saw it move again, so yeah, I am too, Deborah. And anytime you have a question, let me know, please. I prefer, as a pastel artist, for painting with pastels, I prefer sticks because you can feel the grittiness and there's nothing between you and the pigment in the stick forms. And I like the way they can be layered with little scratchy marks or diagonal marks or whatever, and you can see every color that was used below it. So you get the optical illusions that the impressionist used. So for example, if you put a red mark and a a blue mark and a yellow mark together, if you're painting outside and you step away from it, you're going to see green. So that's what optical color mixing is. And so the same token, if you have a pastel laid down that's blue and then put a little bit of a yellow on top of it, you're going to kind of get an illusion of green. But I like the texture that you get with sticks. And I recommend, when you're ready to get another set of pastels, I recommend the Rembrandt line. One of my tutors painted with that and nothing else ever. Rembrandts are semi-hard, but you can still layer them and get some variation of color. And they're not that expensive. You can get by, they make half sets and stuff like that. So you can get by with a half stick set because a half stick lasts a long time, believe me. A little bit of red now. And there are 1,000,001 brands of pastel these days. And whoever you're studying with will have different reasons for liking what they've got. And then there are some of us who have full box sets of as many pastels as we carry home. But when I paint with pastels full time, which I haven't done in several years, I use them all. You can use your PanPastels too as an underlayer for putting some sticks on top of it to get the texture from the sticks. And I used some of this pinkish And the last thing I did after I got all this color on here was came back with some blue and made sure that those marks weren't all the same. Just a little cloud bank. Did you hear me say that I use Liquitex clear gesso as a coating on papers that I want to put pastel on? And you can do that in your journal as well. Okay, purple. This is lighter. Getting closer to land. I'll look at the chat here in just a minute. Okay. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Okay, I'm about ready to come back in with some blue. I'm coming in with a lighter blue so it can kind of balance the darker blue. I want to keep my shapes different. And I've been talking about this for weeks, but excuse me, Dr. Victoria, don't know yet exactly what the last name is. She hasn't told me yet. Maybe brown lace, maybe, I don't know. I'm still working on it. I'll find out though. So anyway, in the next couple weeks, I promise there's going to be a reveal, and I'm hoping that she'll make an appearance. And I will be working on a field notes journal like the one that she did in 1850. And we're going to have fun. And the cards that I designed with materials and tools that we forget that we have will be used for my Monday paintings that'll be pre-filmed. And then on Tuesday, I'll do a page in the journal. Still need some more red. All right. Putting some mica PanPastels up here. Everybody needs a little sparkle. The yellow. Don't be afraid to mix your color tones. And I try not to cover up everything that's under it. And for those of you who don't know, I've got a painting in the gallery for PanPastel. That's my claim to fame. I don't have many of those. Now some lighter white right in the punch. I'm narrowing that purple line a little. Alright, alright. Orange. Where was I saying orange? Over here. I'm looking at it in the camera. Looks pretty good. I could use a few more connected blues. That's better. Okay, let me see if you said anything else. I think you just copy your link and paste it in, Joycey. Since you're an admin, you can do that. Vary your shapes and your sizes. must be walking time. All right, now I'm going to move to my landmass. And this time I think I'm going to use this darkest purple and darkest blue. Try not to blow on pastels because that just puts the dust in the air. And if you have any kind of a susceptibility to dust and stuff, you don't want to do that. Table Mountain. Most mornings you see a cloud cover that comes down and covers the top portion of the mountain as if it were a tablecloth. It looks like a lacy tablecloth. And it was a disconcerting time for me. I've never traveled, never had a passport till that trip. But it was the 1-year anniversary of when Sarah died at Christmas. And our friends insisted that we go with them. She's from there, has family there, so we didn't. It's always so much nicer when you can see real people, when you can be around real people that live there. It scared me a little bit. Opaque media, just cover it up. And that doesn't need to be such a hard edge. Looking at it in the mirror, in the camera. I had a little more magenta on this other one, which I really liked. Okay, now we'll sign it again. Use some color that's in it. On watercolors, I use a number 2 pencil. And on pastels, I use a pastel pencil, a charcoal stick, or something like that. And I didn't do that right. That'll work. Ta-da! Okay, here they both are. This one I got a little bit lighter. That one's a little brighter. But I'm proud of them. I think they look good. And they are improved over what they were. So there you have it. And I am gonna go. I've spent a year watching the TV, so no reason to quit tonight. It's almost over. The panic. Or not the panic, but the... Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it. I think I like this mountain range better. This one's just bigger. But you can't copy yourself. You can't duplicate something. That's why people who worry about China stealing from them, don't worry about it. Just go on and do your thing. Yeah, that's better. You'll be on to new and better things. What was strange, darling? You got a wet wipe. When I work with pastels, I use either gloves in a bottle, or Winsor Newton makes a really good hand protector. They're about the same price. Art Guard, I think they call theirs. And the reason I do it is not because I don't want dust on my hands. It's because it dries my fingers out. Okay. If any of y'all have any questions ever, just drop me a DM and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Now I'm going to be good. I'm going to clean this up. I'm not sure I'm doing much good. Alcohol will get it off. All right. Joyce, did you get that link up there yet? Hey, Deborah, I've got over 500 videos on my channel, so that would keep you busy with silliness and I don't know what silliness and I don't know. It's a little bit of everything. So there's plenty to keep you busy till I get back. And I appreciate you saying that. You're a doll. I did. I try not to get in there and delete stuff, but sometimes I pick up my phone and just accidentally hit. Good. I'm glad you found Joycey. And thank you guys so much for coming. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing some pastels again. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, I'm going. See ya. Love you.